Well, alright everybody, welcome back to another edition here of SmackDown. How are y'all doing? My name is Dominic, of course, behind the commentary table and following a non-stop thrill ride known as the Money in the Bank pay-per-view event, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it already, well then what are you doing? Go out of your way and watch it. It was an absolutely groundbreaking event. However, this man, Drew McIntyre, is a groundbreaking performer as he decided to prove at the Money in the Bank event when he went one-on-one with Andrade Cien Almas, okay, an old rival of his that decided to flare back up once again as these two competed in a non-stop knockout, drag-out brawl for the Intercontinental title. The title that Drew McIntyre currently holds around his waist as he successfully defended his championship against Andrade. However, tonight, as he walks into SmackDown as the champion, he decided that he wants to kick off the show with a bit of a message towards not only the audience, but apparently the people in the back. So the question is, what exactly will Drew McIntyre have to say? We're going to find out in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. However, as he makes his entrance, I want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening throughout the entire course of the show. Okay, we're going to be hearing from the Rated R Superstar, the SmackDown General Manager, Edge. We've got a #1 Contenders Match for the SmackDown Women's title, and we've got so much more. However, right now, I will turn it back over to McIntyre. Oh, well, hold on just a second. As McIntyre looks to talk about his time here on SmackDown and his lack of a proper spotlight as the Intercontinental Champion, it seems as though this man has decided to take the spotlight away from him. As the leader of the club, the former Universal Champion, the man who, funnily enough, has beaten Drew McIntyre in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, this despicable Finn Balor has decided to interrupt the Intercontinental Champion. And, well, as Drew McIntyre was saying, he feels as though he has been a bit disrespected, perhaps. Okay, he feels as though he's been pushed down the card here on SmackDown as the Intercontinental Champion. And I absolutely get where he's coming from. But the question is, what does Finn Balor have to say about that situation? And well, there you have it! The Intercontinental Champion Drew McIntyre versus the leader of the club in Finn Balor, and we're gonna have it take place in our main event of the evening. Finn Balor, he wants a shot at the Intercontinental title, and he wants to prove that he can defeat Drew McIntyre once and for all in a match against the champion in our main event of the evening. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. Sure, last time these two fought against each other, Drew McIntyre was previously attacked backstage by Andrade. This time, Finn Balor does not get that luxury. Will he be able to defeat McIntyre and earn himself a shot at the Intercontinental title? We're gonna find out later on tonight here on SmackDown. However, later on in the evening, a SmackDown women's title shot will be on the line as Candice LeRae takes on Shayna Baszler in a #1 Contenders match. But that's not all, as of course I mentioned it earlier on, our SmackDown General Manager, Edge, will have something to say, and this is just some speculation, but I heard through the rumor mill that he's going to have something to say in regards to his current career path after the abrupt news a few months back about being able to compete once again in the middle of the ring. And after his victory against John Cena at WrestleMania, I can't wait to see what he has to say. However, now I want to turn your attention over from a few guys talking to a few guys brawling as Samoa Joe, this man right here, is looking to wage war with one half of the War Raiders. It's Samoa Joe versus Rowe in a match that should be very interesting in my opinion. Sure, both men are known for their incredible power and their horrific strength. However, Samoa Joe and Rowe have both proven that they are not afraid to fly and that they have the ability to do so whenever they so wish. These two are very unique competitors, and I can't wait to see what happens as they look to battle here on SmackDown. As Samoa Joe, there you see, looks out towards the crowd. You have to think that this man is not 100% walking into this matchup. Sure, he competed in the Money in the Bank ladder match. 6 men all battling using a variety of weapons to beat the hell out of each other before trying to grab that oh so prestigious briefcase which Shinsuke Nakamura successfully grabbed and obtained before taking it over to Raw, with Bianca Belair taking the women's Money in the Bank briefcase over to SmackDown. However, Samoa Joe, he also had to feel the brute force of Ricochet, as Ricochet hit a 630 senton off the top of a ladder, crashing into the big man. Okay, Samoa Joe, perhaps he's got some bruised ribs. Obviously, his abdomen must be in a lot of pain. However, he still demanded a match here tonight. He still basically threatened Edge that if he did not give him a match tonight, well then, there would be some negative consequences by Samoa Joe. Of course, Edge, he obliged. He gave him a match here tonight against Rowe, one half of the War Raiders, which of course comprised of Rowe and the big man Hanson. This incredible duo, this tremendous tag team that have proven to be very successful in the past, haven't really been too successful actually since coming over to SmackDown. Okay, I can sum it up with this. On the first episode of SmackDown following WrestleMania, it was the War Raiders taking a massive loss in their match against the now SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. So you gotta think, Rowe and Hanson, they both desperately want a shot at those tag team titles, and perhaps a victory by Rowe here tonight could give Rowe and Hanson the edge against all other tag teams. As Rowe right now, he challenges Samoa Joe following a chop, and then he gets a punch to the face, and now it seems as though these two heavy hitters, these two brawlers, are looking to battle here, with Samoa Joe with a back fist right there, chop to the chest before taking a receipt by Rowe with a chop right there, and then a massive forearm taking the big man down to a knee. Okay, do not let Rowe's size fool you. Sure, even though Hanson is physically the larger competitor, it's Hanson who is more well known to fly around like the cruiserweight, as Rowe is not necessarily used to flying However, he just gets sent into the turnbuckles. One. No, and only a 1 count by Samoa Joe. Rowe, he's much more known for his power, his brute strength. Samoa Joe, he's very well known for that and his ability to fly like a cruiserweight like Hansen. Okay, I would argue that Samoa Joe and Hansen have much more in common than Rowe and Samoa Joe. But what I do know is that Rowe, oh God, sends Samoa Joe into the turnbuckles now. And the cover, 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count there. Samoa Joe sending Rowe into the corner with an exploder, and Rowe responds with a suplex into the turnbuckles as well. Both men saying anything you can do, I can do better. Already a very even contest as now, oh, we get the shoulder budge there by Samoa Joe and Rowe, who ducks underneath the clothesline. As now he charges towards him, goes for a headbutt, but instead gets caught. As Samoa Joe charges towards him, goes for a running kick, but instead gets caught with a kick right to the stomach, and then a slap to the face by the disrespectful Samoa Joe, as these two are beating the hell out of each other. Non-stop strikes, non-stop slams, as Samoa Joe gets slammed into the mat, and now Rowe picks him up, and oh my God, Samoa Joe shows off some athleticism, getting out of that predicament, hitting him and dropping him with a DDT right on the top of the head, right on the neck. And Hansen right now watches on as Rowe, perhaps not looking too good here, as he gets taken down with a back suplex. And now once again, another pinfall attempt. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. Following this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, I have been informed that Edge will be ready to speak to the audience as Rowe slams down Samoa Joe with a charging shoulder budge. However, right now, Samoa Joe gets sent across the ring and taken down. As Samoa Joe rolls to the outside, he's trying to find himself some breathing room, and Rowe, perhaps not giving him the chance to breathe, hitting him with a belly-to-belly over the top rope, once again showcasing his immense power, as the big man Samoa Joe doesn't know what to do. He's not looking too good. He doesn't know what hit him. However, right now, Samoa Joe is trying to fight back, and Rowe is not giving him the chance to do so. Oh, however, Samoa Joe perhaps looks to take that chance, throwing him into the corner now, and then a knife edge chop in response before a brutal headbutt, taking Rowe off his feet as he leans up against the bottom turnbuckle, and now it's Samoa Joe using his own feet to wipe his boots across the face of his opponent. And the cover now, 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count once again, with Rowe just barely perhaps getting the shoulder up following the incoming impact of that boot to the face by Samoa Joe. As Rowe turns around, he immediately gets met with a horrific looking chop, and then a slap by Samoa Joe sends him down, and now it's Joe who flies to the outside with the suicide dive, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. When I talk about the athleticism and the agility of Samoa Joe, he can fly around like a cruiserweight, yet lift you up like a super heavyweight. And Samoa Joe, he ain't looking to perhaps be done with this onslaught, as the lower spine of Rowe gets sent into the turnbuckle post before Samoa Joe decides to give Hansen a bit of a stare down, telling him to back off, telling him to get out of his way, as right now it's Rowe who gets sent back inside the ring, and Samoa Joe now looks to follow him as Rowe surprisingly gets up, only to get taken back down there. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count again, and Samoa Joe still unable to keep Rowe down. Okay, after all the strikes, after all the big power moves, hell, even after the suicide dive, you think that Samoa Joe would keep Rowe down for the 3 counts. However, Rowe, oh, just like that, shows Samoa Joe that he is going to fight back, and he is going to beat Samoa Joe, whatever it takes, following a brutal knee strike right to the jaw, damn near breaking the jaw of Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe strikes back with a punch before getting sent down there with another exploding suplex there. And the exploder by Rowe perhaps charges him up as Samoa Joe gets back to his feet, and he gets a massive forearm. Oh, and he goes for another one, but instead it's Samoa Joe who strikes back, and here we go. Rowe trying to make the comeback here. As Samoa Joe is not looking too good, with Rowe hitting him with a massive headbutt. As now Rowe sends him over the top rope, and the big man goes crashing down, and the Samoan submission machine perhaps not in a good predicament as Rowe flies to the outside. The entire match has been a game of one-upsmanship, and now it's Rowe who looks to one-up Samoa Joe's suicide dive with one of his own. And perhaps this will lead to a victory. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count again. As Samoa Joe looks to get back to his feet here, Rowe waits for him to get up. He goes to grab the arm, perhaps trying to slow down the pace. These two big men perhaps are getting exhausted here. These two big men are perhaps getting a bit too tired for their own good. Oh, however, right now it's Rowe who strikes back again, sending him into the corner. Samoa Joe not looking too good. He's got to feel desperate. He's got to be thinking, what do I do to defeat Rowe, who is admittedly doing a very impressive job here against Samoa Joe. And Joe, oh, wait a second. Joe, wait a second. Out of nowhere, connecting. Hitting the Muscle Buster. 1, 2, 3. Seeing it as an opportunity as the indie legend Samoa Joe puts out another legendary performance against Rowe. But you have to admit, Rowe, he did a very good job in his own right, hitting him with a few horrific looking strikes, hell, even a suicide dive in his own right. Samoa Joe and Rowe battled here tonight, both men wanting to prove to the other that they are on each other's level, or perhaps even better. Samoa Joe, however, he can confidently say that he is better than Rowe as he beats one half of the War Raiders here tonight. However, following that massive victory by Samoa Joe, I want to turn your attention over to none other than the SmackDown General Manager, Edge. Well, I guess somewhere during that conversation, we got a bit of a good reason as to why Edge, our SmackDown general manager, has decided not to take this opportunity, the second chance at, well, creating a long-lasting legacy within the confines of that squared circle, as he, of course, returned after 9 years at the Royal Rumble event before competing at WrestleMania, as he just stated. But I guess he wants to give some time to the modern day performers, and it seems as though Heath Slater and EC3 are looking to use that time to not only talk down to our general manager, but also to perhaps climb up the WWE roster, just like how these two women here tonight are looking to climb up the WWE roster and look to battle Alexa Bliss for the SmackDown Women's title, because you see, this is a #1 contenders match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We first had Candice LeRae making her way to the ring, as I was talking about what transpired between Edge and Heath Slater, and now we have got the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. These two women were both in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and they both put up fairly interesting performances, in my opinion. Of course, the winner of that matchup, Bianca Belair, is another SmackDown roster member. Sadly, however, she is not here tonight. Following her immense win, perhaps she decided to celebrate that victory. But right now, it's going to be one of these two women who will leave here tonight celebrating a victory as they climb up the rankings and look to leave as the #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You gotta think that Alexa Bliss is watching this one very closely wherever she is, following her victory against Ember Moon, retaining her title in a Bliss Rules match, beating the hell out of her challenger on that night. And now you gotta think Ember Moon, she's gotta be furious. But right now, these two women are not worried about Ember Moon. They gotta be worried about each other. A Shayna Baszler, there you see, connecting with a brutal punch. She's an MMA competitor indeed. Perhaps more used to an octagon than the squared circle. However, right now it's Shayna Baszler who perhaps talks down to Candice LeRae once again, sending her into the ropes, and again with a punch to the face. As we've got Baszler in the silver and black, Candice LeRae opposing her in the silver, blue, and purple before getting a massive punch to the stomach and another one for good measure. And here we go. Shayna Baszler with the forearm strikes connecting right to the jaw, and another one for good measure. And now here we go. The Queen of Spades looks to brutalize Candice LeRae in the corner, but now it's Shayna Baszler who looks to fight back. And now there you see those expertly timed strikes by Shayna before sending her right into the mat with that back suplex, dropping her on the back of her head and the back of her neck before turning around and deciding to take this opportunity to perhaps talk a bit of smack. And now come on. This is absolutely uncalled for. Choking Candice LeRae. Not unlike she's, of course, trying to dominate this matchup, and she's been doing a successful job at doing so, and again deciding to choke her opponent once again. Shayna Baszler, she's an incredibly ruthless competitor, as you can see here tonight. She doesn't give a damn about the rules, she gives a damn about injuring her opponents, and as you can see, perhaps that stomp to the arm right there could lead to an injury, as Candice once again tries to get up. She's not really doing that good at all, I should say. Okay, Johnny Gargano, her husband, competed for the WWE title at the Money in the Bank event as Candice, only a 2 count, as Candice looks to compete for the SmackDown Women's title, but Shayna Baszler right now not giving her the satisfaction of earning herself a shot at that championship, as Candice LeRae, okay, even though I'm a big fan of Candice LeRae, she is not looking too good, and perhaps she could have found an opening there as she's trying to fight back here with the strikes, turning her around, going for perhaps a belly-to-back suplex, but instead it's Shayna Baszler who charges towards her, but Candice moves out of the way and catches her with the clothesline. Maybe this is Candice's moment here, and she connects with a Hurricane Rana. And LeRae now only a 1 count. She has quickly grown a following here on SmackDown, showcasing her high-flying offense as she flies through the air, but nobody home, charging towards Shayna Baszler, but instead getting a chest full of turnbuckle, as it's Shayna Baszler right now, once again taunting her opponent. Perhaps Baszler underestimating her, however, as once again she has her in the corner, and Candice now takes the opportunity to connect with the DDT. And the cover once again now. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. Trying to keep Shayna Baszler down for the 3, but instead it's Candice LeRae who is unable to do just that, as she hits her there right in the face, right in the jaw. And after a dominating display by Shayna Baszler in the early moments of this matchup, it could be Candice LeRae who continues to try and build a comeback here with another Hurricane Rana, taking down Shayna Baszler. Oh, however, there you see Shayna rolls out of the way, but oh, she couldn't roll out of the way of that. Baszler trying to create some breathing room. However, it's Candice LeRae, perhaps in a breathless sprint, charging towards her, hitting her with the suicide dive DDT combination that she has become well known for here as a, high-flying and angry Candice LeRae looks to take out those frustrations here on Shayna Baszler. Wait a second, Baszler goes after her, but instead gets a horrible-looking forearm, and then there you see dropping her on the back of her head. Dropping her on the neck. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count, spiking Shayna Baszler in the middle of the ring. As now these two women are continuing the brawl here. Candice LeRae putting out an incredible performance here against Basler, who is not giving her the chance perhaps to continue it. And Basler now takes her down with not 1 but 2 gut-wrench suplexes. 2. No, and only a 2 count. However, perhaps a 3rd suplex could lead to the 3 count by the referee. But instead, as you just saw, it was Shayna Baszler unable to keep Candice LeRae down. Candice, just like her husband, has that famous heart and soul and that passion and determination here in the world of professional wrestling. She's an incredible competitor, and she will not quit. She will continue to fight by any means necessary. However, it's Shayna Baszler right now who perhaps looks to be her toughest test here in the WWE, as she goes for a kick, but instead catches her there with a clothesline and another one for good measure, as Candice LeRae now continues to build herself up, and Shayna Baszler gets taken off her feet. Candice LeRae now pointing at the sky, perhaps pointing, signaling that she is flying high and rising up through the SmackDown rankings, as now she catches her there. Bit of a shout out perhaps. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. A bit of a shout out perhaps to Chris Jericho, whose moveset is very similar to that of Candice LeRae's. Of course, Chris Jericho, a former NXT general manager before that brand ultimately became a dead brand here. However, right now these two women are battling, and perhaps they might have to kill the other to leave here as #1 contender. However, I surely hope that we do not see that very unfortunate circumstance by either Shayna or Candice. These two are incredible competitors, and you're seeing it here tonight as Shayna Baszler looks to pull the arm out of her socket. And now the punches to the stomach over and over again, sending her head first into the top turnbuckle. And right now it's Shayna Baszler who once again is putting her dominance on display. As the offense continues, it's Shayna who sees this as an opportunity, connecting. A back superplex off the top turnbuckle. Both women go crashing down into the mat, and this could be it. 1, 2, 3. No, and she gets the shoulder up. She pushes Shayna Baszler off, breaking the pinfall attempt. However, right now, perhaps it's Shayna Baszler who looks to break a few things. More specifically, the bones in Candice's body. As now she continues the strikes. Goes for another kick. However, right now it's Candice LeRae who connects with a forearm and another one for good measure. And now a trifecta. And then a punch. And Candice, perhaps battling from underneath. However, it's Shayna Baszler who charges towards her. And now it's Candice. Goes for the DDT. Oh, wait a second. Turns into a pinfall attempt here. 1, 2, 3. And we've got a #1 contender. Candice LeRae perhaps stealing the victory. But nonetheless, you can't deny that she is now the #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title. And you've got to think Basler is furious about how this match just concluded. I will admit, Shayna Baszler, she put out an excellent performance. Showcasing her power, showcasing her ruthlessness. Candice, however, showcasing her high-flying acumen and her agility and her heart. But in the end, it's Candice LeRae who steals the victory. And now, she's got her sights set on the SmackDown Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss.
Really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Okay then. Well, okay then. It seems as though Abby, according to that segment, Abby, after sending the Fiend loose on Roman Reigns at the Money in the Bank event, is now turning her attention and of course the Fiend's attention to not Vince McMahon's family, nor his money, but of course, according to her, the gold that he created. Now I can sit here all day and speculate exactly what that means, but I've got a tag team match to talk about, so I guess we'll have to see what's happening with that at a future date. Because right now, it's time for some tag team action, as these two, Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar, are looking to go 2-on-2 against SmackDown's newest team in EC3 and Heath Slater. Okay, this is the first tag team match since WrestleMania for both Sheamus and Cesaro. And tonight, they are looking to showcase to the world why they should still not be underestimated. As there you see EC3 and Heath Slater. Now, I mentioned on the last episode of SmackDown, we watched as Heath Slater competed in some one-on-one action. Very different attire. However, I guess EC3 has decided that he doesn't particularly like the look of, well, whatever Heath Slater looked like on the last episode of SmackDown. So tonight, perhaps this new look will help Heath Slater perhaps compete in a bit of a, well, in a bit of a more threatening manner. Considering the fact the last time we saw him compete, it was against Aleister Black, and he immediately, and by immediately, I cannot stress the word immediately enough, he immediately got his head kicked off by the current WWE Champion, Aleister Black. However, right now this isn't about Aleister Black. Heath Slater, hopefully he has shaken off those cobwebs from that episode, because right now it's time for some tag team action. As now, right out of the gate, Cesaro charges towards EC3, takes down Heath Slater, and here we go. Of course, both EC3 and Heath Slater attacked Cesaro when Cesaro was scheduled to compete against EC3. Instead, he got the debuting Heath Slater. And right now it's Cesaro trying to beat down EC3, which is something he tried to do a few episodes ago, when instead, like I just mentioned, he was handed Heath Slater. But right now it's EC3 who perhaps looks to, dish out some punishment. But Cesaro, the Swiss Superman, not giving him a chance to fight back. As he tags in Sheamus here. And it seems as though Cesaro, here we go, the Cesaro swing, baby! Oh, good, before the clubbing dropkick. Right to the side of EC3. Now, of course, I want to talk about the relationship between Cesaro and Sheamus for a bit, as Sheamus takes down EC3. Okay, before WrestleMania, it was Cesaro and Sheamus who, I guess you could say, had a bit of a rough patch. Okay, they lost the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Sheamus eliminated Cesaro from the Royal Rumble, and of course they had a few back and forth matches as well. However, ever since then, they seemingly, kissed, and they made up, and they are once again on the same page. Okay, I don't know if the kissing thing was meant to be taken literally or metaphorically. However, I'll leave your imagination to it. What I do know is that EC3 just ran over to his corner and tagged out to Heath Slater, who was challenging Sheamus for the fight. However, right now it's Heath Slater trying to fight back here, goes for a kick to the stomach, instead he gets caught, and Sheamus now, one half of the bar, is looking to fight back, goes for a punch, he completely whiffs it, and Heath Slater tries to take advantage before Sheamus decides to throw him across the ring, and here we go. It's Sheamus who has Heath Slater before tagging out to Cesaro, and it seems as though, like I just mentioned, these two are indeed back on the same page, and perhaps better than ever, as Cesaro and Sheamus both decimate, perhaps even decapitate Heath Slater there. As EC3 watches on, Heath Slater, his employee, tries to fight back here against the Swiss Superman, bounces off the ropes, but instead gets caught there with a flying European uppercut, as Cesaro takes down EC3 with a right hand, and Heath Slater tries to fight back here. He hits him with a right hand in his own right, trying to fight back, trying to go up against Cesaro, and now here we go. Speaking of right hands, it's Heath Slater laying them in here. But there you see, Slater gets taken off there, gets pushed down to the mat. Cesaro trying to fight back and connecting with a beautiful suplex. 1, 2, no, and Heath Slater gets the shoulder up. Cesaro goes for a stomp. Heath Slater quickly realizes the danger. He moves out of the way, throws him across the ring. Throws him outside the ring, Takes this opportunity to go for a punch, but instead he gets a forearm, and it seems as though Cesaro has decided to take down EC3. Wait a second, but Heath Slater goes for the cover here. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. Okay, perhaps trying to go for a roll-up victory, just like Candice LeRae did a few moments ago. However, unlike Candice, Heath Slater was unable to keep Cesaro down for the 3 count. And even though I may be apologizing for my constant screw-ups in my commentary, it seems as though Cesaro and Sheamus are unapologetic about this beatdown taking place in the middle of the ring. The brutal knees right to the stomach of Heath before dropping him there. And EC3 again, he wants in the match. Okay, he realizes that Heath Slater is not in a good predicament, and Sheamus now sends him across the ring. And once again, it's Heath Slater who's caught in the corner. And now it's once again Cesaro who gets back into the ring off the tag. Heath Slater is being made an example of by Sheamus and Cesaro. A double powerbomb, sending Heath Slater into the mat with a horrific impact. However, Cesaro right now, after punching EC3 off the apron, sends him up into the air. And just like that, another decapitation, this time only by Cesaro, who launches him up into the air, at least 8 feet in the air, before he just comes crashing down onto the arm and the European uppercuts of Cesaro. As Cesaro tries to fight back once again, and Heath Slater now, realizing where he is, decides to make the tag after a long stretch of getting absolutely demolished here by Cesaro and Sheamus, as Cesaro there sends the former WWE Champion, the former Mr. Money in the Bank, into the mat. Cesaro, oh wait a second, takes this opportunity, looks at Heath Slater, looking directly in the eyes of Heath Slater. However, unlike with EC3, it seems as though Cesaro has decided to show a little bit of mercy, deciding not to take him down with a punch. However, right now it's EC3 who takes him down with a pinfall attempt. 1, 2, 3, and EC3! Oh, it seems as though EC3 and Heath Slater had their eyes on Candice LeRae. Both men going for a roll-up pinfall victory. Heath Slater unable to keep Cesaro down. However, tonight it was EC3 who kept Cesaro down for the pinfall. Okay, Cesaro, after being attacked by these two men, perhaps not able to get his revenge, his redemption, alongside Sheamus with a roll-up victory by EC3 and Heath Slater. And the former WWE Champion perhaps just showed the world why he hired Heath Slater as his employee. However, ladies and gentlemen, after such a long night of action, and of course we still got our main event to get through, but still after a long night of action, I want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening on the next episode of SmackDown. It's another King of the Ring matchup. Johnny Gargano versus AJ Styles. You're not going to want to miss it. However, it seems as though the club are going to be taking over SmackDown, as the SmackDown Tag Team titles will be on the line. We have got Gallows and Anderson, the current Tag Team Champions, versus the former in Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day. Will the New Day be able to get their revenge in this rematch for the tag team titles? Or will those two men, Gallows and Anderson, be able to retain the tag team straps that they have firmly wrapped around their waists? However, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, it's our main event of the evening. As Gallows and Anderson currently hold those SmackDown Tag Team titles, it's Finn Balor who perhaps looks to set his sights on the Intercontinental Championship. It is a matchup where Finn Balor desperately needs to earn a victory. Will Finn Balor be able to defeat Drew McIntyre here in our main event and earn himself an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship? Or perhaps, will Drew McIntyre be able to take Finn Balor down, the leader of the club, the former Universal Champion, once and for all? We're going to find out right now. It's our main event of the evening. Like I just mentioned, we've got a hot show on the next episode of SmackDown. Johnny Gargano versus AJ Styles in the King of the Ring tournament. It's going to be a hell of a fight. The SmackDown Tag Team titles also on the line. The New Day versus Gallows and Anderson, also going to be a hell of a fight. However, this one, ladies and gentlemen, I expect to be a knockout, drag-out brawl. It's a main event for the ages here. Okay, you could easily see this matchup main event a pay-per-view. But tonight, it's main eventing SmackDown. The Intercontinental title not on the line, but a shot at that championship truly is. We kicked off the show with McIntyre and Finn Balor exchanging a few words. Drew McIntyre saying that he feels as though he has been slowly but surely pushed down the card ever since taking hold of that Intercontinental title. Sure, he's defended it against the likes of Eric Young and Andrade Cien Almas. And of course, he's beaten the both of them. However, tonight, perhaps Drew McIntyre in this main event matchup could leave here looking to showcase to the world why he truly is a main event player. Okay, he was not even on the WrestleMania card, and he's pissed off about it. Sure, he was on the Money in the Bank card. Sure, he beat Andrade Cien Almas, but right now he wants to showcase to the world that he can defeat a former world champion, a former Universal Champion, the leader of the club, in Finn Balor. As the two men stare each other down now, very different competitors, I will admit. Drew McIntyre more of a powerhouse as he sends Finn Balor down. Balor a bit more reliant on his speed and technical display. Drew McIntyre a bit more of a brawler, you could say, as Balor sends him down and immediately goes for the cover, realizing that an early victory for Finn Balor is very important for him. Because if he can get the job done, if he can beat Drew McIntyre, then he will be one step away from earning himself that Intercontinental Championship, that oh so prestigious title that the best professional wrestlers on the planet have held. You think of guys like Razor Ramon, you think of guys like Shawn Michaels, and you think of guys like that man, Drew McIntyre, who just showcased to the world in one fell swoop why he is the champion with that horrific power, this need to be the best. And right now, Finn Balor showcasing to the world that he has a very similar need, getting out of that powerbomb predicament, going for a roll-up pinfall attempt. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. Okay, we already saw 2 roll-up victories here tonight, with EC3 in the last match, and Candice LeRae a few matches ago against Shayna Baszler. Finn Balor, he attempted to add his name to that list of competitors who have won here tonight with a roll-up pinfall attempt. Instead, it's McIntyre who kicked out, and now Finn Balor is making him pay for it, as right now he's got McIntyre on the ground and now taunts the champion. However, as McIntyre gets back to his feet, it's Finn Balor who immediately takes the opportunity to lay in a few shots. Oh, as he connects with a punch there. He goes to grab the arm, but instead he gets a massive shot. A forearm by McIntyre in a clothesline, taking down Balor. And he goes for the cover, does the champion. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count by his potential future challenger. However, right now, Finn Balor, the leader of the club, you gotta think it's about more than the Intercontinental Champion for him. He realizes, that he's been on the losing end of many matches as of late. With Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. And of course, sure, he got a victory against Drew McIntyre, but that was only after Andrade Cien Almas attacked McIntyre backstage before the bout. So Finn Balor perhaps also wants to showcase to the world that he is indeed still one of the best. He's the leader of the club for a reason. He's a former Universal Champion for a reason. However, Finn Balor ducks underneath the clothesline, throws him across the ring. He's a former World Heavyweight Champion, And Balor is pissed off that perhaps he's not getting the amount of respect that he feels he deserves. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. Both men are here tonight with a lot to prove. Both men are here tonight in this massive main event, wanting to prove why they are championship material. However, you gotta remember Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and AJ Styles, the other 3 members of the club, who are watching on at ringside, keeping a close eye on Drew McIntyre, with Finn Balor getting back to his feet, perhaps caught on the rope there. However, he gets out of that predicament, and right now, that he can be more focused on McIntyre, he lays in a few strikes, gets in a few reversals, and right now it's Finn Balor who tries to fight back. The crowd chanting for Finn, which I don't fully understand, judging by his track record. However, right now, 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count following a massive slam by McIntyre. I understand that there is a large portion of the fan base who still believe and who still admire Finn Balor. And even though I would love to say that I like Finn Balor, I do believe he is truly one of the best we have here in the WWE in-ring wise. I cannot get behind this club mentality, you could say. Okay, this need to constantly cheat, this need to constantly just display his dominance by going oh so too far. And right now, it's Finn Balor who sends McIntyre far away and crashing down to the outside, as there you see, oh well, he decides to shoot down Drew McIntyre, perhaps taunting the Intercontinental Champion. Gallows, Anderson, and AJ keeping a very close eye on Drew McIntyre, realizing that they do not want to get involved in this matchup, knowing that Finn Balor's chance of becoming a future champion is on the line. The count is 6 by the ref. Balor watches on. Drew McIntyre, gets back in the ring and gets met with a brutal punch. Perhaps a bit too distracted by the other members of the club at ringside. Finn Balor waits for him to get up, and now he could see this as an opportunity to connect. Backwards DDT, taking McIntyre down, going for the cover. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. However, McIntyre nonetheless gets back to his feet fairly quickly. He wants to continue the fight. He does not want to show weakness against Finn Balor, because he understands that Balor is a man who preys upon the weakness of others. However, right now, McIntyre, he is not looking too good, as that weakness is indeed starting to show, and Finn Balor continues the onslaught. Balor not giving McIntyre a chance to take a break, not giving him a chance to breathe. He rolled to the outside, and Finn Balor quickly followed, flying over the top rope. And the cover now, 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count again. McIntyre using his strength to push Finn Balor off. However, right now it's Balor who's in a good predicament, waiting for McIntyre to get back to his feet, and he does. As he hits him there with a ruthless rolling forearm right to the champion. However, right now Drew McIntyre, following his successful title retention against Andrade Cien Almas, he's trying to fight back here. He's trying to earn himself another victory, this time against another great competitor in Finn Balor, who gets out of the fireman's carry position. As he's got him here and connects with a back elbow right to the back of the neck. And wait a second, McIntyre, wait a second, out of nowhere, future shock. 1, 2, no, and only a 2 count. McIntyre can't believe it. Perhaps with one last gasp, one last showcase of desperation, kicking Finn Balor as hard as he can right in the stomach before connecting with a future shock DDT. A desperate attempt at earning a victory here against an equally desperate competitor in Finn Balor. But nonetheless, it's Balor who kicks out. As right now, Drew McIntyre sees this as an opportunity to continue fighting, to continue going. And right now, perhaps it's McIntyre who may see this as an opportunity. Oh God, both men up at the top. McIntyre brings them both back down. And there you see Drew feeling the energy in the crowd. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count again. Neither man willing to quit after both men go crashing into the mat. And now, oh, wait a second, Finn. Wait a second, Finn. Out of nowhere. Finn Balor out of nowhere connecting. Out of nowhere, setting him up for the backwards DDT. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. And now perhaps it's Finn Balor with a showcase of desperation. Both men want to prove why they are two of the best here on SmackDown. McIntyre wants to prove why he's the Intercontinental Champion. Finn Balor wants to prove why he could be a future IC Champion. However, right now, nonetheless, this has turned into a back and forth brawl. Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, two main event caliber stars, competing here in the main event of the evening on SmackDown. As the power of McIntyre looks to take down Finn Balor once and for all, who goes for a maneuver, but instead gets dropped down, getting back up to his feet rather quickly before again being taken down. Dropped on his back, off the rebound. And now McIntyre, he's in the corner. He's challenging Balor to get back to his feet. After such an intense and back and forth battle, it's Balor, oh wait a second, who looks to continue it with the kicks right to the leg. And Finn now, oh wait a second, looking to drag Drew McIntyre, but instead gets met with the brutal elbows to the stomach. No, wait a second, McIntyre throws him to the outside, and there you see the big man can fly. Okay, he showcased his own agility at the Money in the Bank event in a match where his desperation was at an all-time high to keep the Intercontinental title around his waist. Tonight, McIntyre looks to showcase another level. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Another level of desperation here. As Finn Balor and McIntyre, they both have to be exhausted. They both have to be battling through the pain. And now it's Drew McIntyre who connects with a vicious headbutt. The skulls collide here in our main event. And McIntyre perhaps could have him here, but nobody home. Sets up the Claymore, but nobody home. And Balor, 1916 connecting. 1, 2, 3, and Finn Balor has just earned himself a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. My God, what a battle here between Finn Balor and McIntyre. And if their Intercontinental Championship matchup is anything like that, well then we should be in for a treat. What a main event between these two hard-hitting combatants. Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre just waged war here. McIntyre throwing caution to the wind, Finn Balor doing the same, but in the end, it's Finn Balor, the leader of the club here, alongside Gallows, Anderson, and AJ, as he looks to climb the ladder of success here on SmackDown. However, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much for watching this one, as Finn Balor gets the job done on Drew McIntyre.